make it a brighter place. It'll take creation, imagination. Try to draw outside the line. Let us see inside your mind. You'll find inspiration. All I'm saying is you can do it. I wanna hear you say, I am independent. I am dedicated. Doing it my way, doing it my way. Yes, I am. I am in control. I am. Watch me go. Doing it my way, doing it my way. Can you hear me say, yes, I am.
From Crafty Hem, and thank you very much for joining me today. And today's project, I'm going to show you how I made this cute little mini album in a box, and it is using the Spooky Cat stamp set and also the Spooky, let me just check what it's called, Spooky Night Designer Series paper, and I have used half of it, so this is just some of what I have left. Love this paper. And I can't wait to do some more projects with you. So yeah, so I've made this little box for this mini album to go in, and as you can see, I've added the this little cutout here, and I've stamped out the owl on the front, and I've used this beautiful crochet trim that comes in black, absolutely gorgeous. And then this is what the box looks like. Okay. And the mini album has the crochet trim on the back, and I've also added a rhinestone here, but I've also added on the front a few more on the front of the album, and I've put the rhinestone there on purpose so then it acts as a stopper. So yeah, so then you just pull out the mini album, and this is the little mini album. And again, I just stamped out some of the images from that stamp set, and as you can see, I've added some rhinestones on the sides here. So and then this is the album. So I've left it quite simple really, because I seem to like my mini albums like that. So yeah, absolutely love it. And you could fit 3x3 cards in there, maybe a little bit bigger. So yeah, absolutely love it. So if you want to know how to make this little mini album, then stay tuned and let's get started. So to start off making this mini album, we're going to make the box for the album to sit in. Okay, and I'm using very vanilla cardstock. And this piece measures 6.5 inches by 10 inches. And we are going to, excuse me, we're going to start scoring along the 10-inch side at 4.5 inches. Okay, and I'm going to use my paper trimmer because later on, when we do the album, we're going to use the 1/16 of an inch. Okay, so again, along the 10-inch side, we're going to score it at 4.5 and 5.5. Okay, then we're going to turn it, and along the 6.5 inch side, we're going to score it at 1 inch on both sides. So I'm going to do it from this side here. So I'm going to score it at 1 inch. Make sure I move my blade out of the way because I don't want to cut it. And then we're going to rotate it and score it at 1 inch again. Now we're going to fold and burnish on those score lines. So I'm going to use my bone folder. Make sure everything's all lined up. Okay. And now we're going to do some trimming. So you'll see here you have these squares at the top and bottom, and you have these score lines. You're just going to cut up those score lines to this long score line here, okay? So you're going to just cut straight up that score line and to this one as well. And then we're going to give this flap a trim at an angle, like so. Okay, turn it around and do the same again. Okay, so now you want to decide which is going to be the back of your box. So I'm going to fold these in so those flaps will tuck in like so, and then this is going to wrap around like this. Okay, so the larger pieces here, they need trimming only on one side, because then you won't have any overhang. But I'm just having a look to see, when I've lined that up, that it's actually not too bad. So if you find that you have some card overhanging here, just give it a slight trim, but that looks like it's okay. I'm using the Spooky Night Designer Series paper that's in the holiday catalogue, and you're going to need two pieces that measure 4 3/8 by 4 3/8, and then three pieces that measures 4 3/8 by 7/8 of an inch. And they are going to, these two pieces are going to go on the front and the back of the box. One is going to go here, and then two will be going on either side of the box. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and so I've added my paper now, and before I assemble this together, I actually want to put punch half a circle on both sides here, so then that way it's a lot easier to be able to grab hold of the, to pull out the mini album. So I'm using a circle punch, and I think this one I have is about 3/4 of an inch circle punch. It's not a Stampin' Up one, but Stampin' Up do a variety of punches, so you could do any size you want. So I'm going to try and get that central and line that up as best as I can, and then punch. Okay. And now I want to do the opposite side, so I'm just going to line this up, and because my punch will not punch through this amount of layers, I'm just going to get a pen, okay, and just let me just line this up because it's moved. Just I'm just going to tick mark, because you're not really going to see this. It's obviously you're going to punch that out. Okay, so I've got my markings, so then I can line up my punch. Like so. Okay, and then hopefully that should roughly be lined up nicely. So now we're going to start assembling the box. So we need to add some glue to the inside of these tabs, and I want to make sure that I get every single bit of this tab, because you don't want your mini album catching on it, so it won't go in the box. So you need to make sure you've got plenty of glue on these flaps here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fold this around like so and line that up. Okay, so let me just get my fingers in there and line that up and press that down. And do the same for this side as well. So I'm going to wait for that to dry, and then we'll carry on gluing these bits down. Okay, so I've done that, and I've done one of these sides already. So I've added plenty of glue onto this flap that has the paper on, and you do exactly the same to this side, and you just fold that over. And what I did was I just lined it up at the top, okay, and then press that all down like so. And then I just went in with my bone folder to make sure that's all stuck down, okay, and on this side as well. So I'm just going to go in again just to make sure that's all stuck down. Okay, and there we go. So now we're going to make the mini album, and then we can decorate it all together. So for the mini album, you're going to need 3 pieces of very vanilla cardstock, and they're all different sizes, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you the measurement for each one, and we're going to score one at each, you know, so I'll tell you the measurements for the largest one, and then we'll do the scoring. Then we're going to the next one, and then the next one, so then it won't be so confusing, okay? So again, get your paper trimmer, and you're going to need one piece that measures 9 7/8 of an inch by 4 7/16 of an inch, and along the 9 7/8 of an inch we're going to score it at 4 7/16 of an inch, and the 4 7/16 of an inch is the line, this one here, that's just before the 4.5 inch mark, okay? So line it up at 4 7/16 of an inch, and we're going to score. Then we're going to move it along to the 5 7/16 of an inch, which is basically an inch, okay? So again, move it up to that line that's just before that 5.5 inch mark, again, and score. Okay, so then that's that one done. The next one you're going to get, okay, now just let me make sure I've got the right one, so let me just check on my trimmer. Yes, it is. Okay, so you're going to need another piece of very vanilla, and this piece measures 9 10/16 of an inch by 4 7/16 of an inch, and along the 9 10/16 of an inch we're going to score it at 4 7/16 of an inch again. So once again, it's just that tick mark before the 4.5 inch mark here. So again, score, and then 5 3/16 of an inch, which is the small line just before the 5 1/4. Okay, and then score. Then the last piece measures 9 3/8 by 4 7/16 of an inch, okay? And along the 9 3/8 of an inch, again, 4 7/16 of an inch, and 4 14/16 of an inch, which is, let me just double check, 2 4 6 8 10 12 14. So it's the second mark just before the 5 inch mark, okay? Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so now we're going to fold and burnish them all on those score lines. And again, you want to give them a good crease with your bone folder. Okay, so then let me get the larger piece. These are going to layer together like this. Okay, and then when you fold it up, you'll have, if I can get it in there, something that will look like this. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to attach these two pieces together, and we want to get this one central with this one. So you want to have about a 1/8 of an inch gap between each one. Okay, so I'm going to add some glue to this one, and you've seen me do this sort of binding system before. So we're just going to line that up in the center, and you want to make sure that it's all level and press that down. Okay, and I'm not going to move that for a minute. Then we're going to add some glue to this one and then stick that one to that. Okay, you want to make sure there's plenty of glue, because this part of the mini album will be doing most of the work. Okay, so make sure that's all lined up and press that down. Okay, so they're dry now, so then when you fold it all up, it will look like this. Okay, if you find that you have any so when you line up your mini album like this, if you find you have any excess hanging over, just trim it, just to give that a nice straight edge. Okay, so to decorate the front and back of the mini album, we're using the same paper that we used on the box, and I've stuck one on already just to save a bit of time. And you're going to need two pieces that measure 4 1/8 by 4 1/4, and one piece that measures 4 1/4 by 7/8 of an inch. And as you can see, I've stuck one on the front already. So I've added the glue to the other two pieces, and we're going to attach these. So this is going to go onto the spine like so, and I'm using liquid glue because that's my favourite adhesive. You could use whichever glue you prefer. Okay, and then we're going to attach this one to the back. So make sure I've got that the right way. Okay, and then I'm going to press that down like so. Okay, so just make sure that spine is all attached. Okay, now I actually want to punch some holes in the spine here to make it look like the some ribbon is actually keeping this together, and with having ribbon there as well, it will make it a lot more you know that it's not going to come undone if the glue pops open. But with liquid glue that won't happen, but the ribbon is mostly just for decorative purposes. Okay, so I am going to punch 2 holes, and I'm going to use my crocodile. Okay, you could use any hole punch you have, and I'm going to push my crocodile in as far as it will go. So I'm going to use the bigger hole. So I'm going to push it in as far as it goes, and then just punch. Okay, turn it around and punch like so. And I am going to use some of this beautiful vintage crochet trim, and it's in black and it's absolutely gorgeous, and you'll find this in the Halloween section in the holiday catalogue. And I'm wanting to have the bow on the outside, so I'm going to thread it from the outside in. Okay, in fact I think I have some already cut, so just let me grab it. Yes, I have some here. So again, thread it through from the outside in, and then inside to the outside. And then obviously I want to make sure it's all nice and straight. On the inside. Okay, and then we're going to turn it over, and I want to make sure that my trim is all level, so that when it's level, just make sure it's all tidy inside, and then we can tie a bow. And I just love this trim, absolutely beautiful. They also do a very vanilla one in the annual catalogue. So, okay, I'm getting my fingers all tied up here. Which would also go perfect with this Halloween paper, because it's very vanilla in the background. So, okay, so let me just adjust. There we go. Isn't that gorgeous? You could also use the very vanilla if you wish. But yeah, I think that just finishes it off beautifully. So we're going to add my decorative piece in a second, but first I want to add my card and paper to the inside of the album. So we're going to need 8 pieces of pumpkin pie cardstock that measure 4 1/8 by 4, and I've cut it at that size on purpose so you can get 4 of these out of one sheet of A4 paper. Okay. Then you're going to need 8 patterned paper that measure 3 3/4 by 3 7/8. So I'm going to do the first one with you, and then I will pause the video and continue doing the rest. Okay, so the pumpkin pie is going to go first, and then we'll add the paper on top. And you can cut your photo down to, let me have a think. You could do it, what was the size of the paper again? You could do it like 3 7/8 by 3 7/8, or you know, whatever measurement you want to cut your photo down. If you prefer, instead of using the patterned paper, you could use the paper measurement, which is a 4 1/8 by 4, and use that measurement for your photo instead, if you don't want to use the patterned paper. But because I love this paper a lot, I wanted to use it, and then I'm just going to cut my photo down to whatever size I wish. So we're going to attach these 2 pieces together first. Okay, so again, using liquid glue. You could also add flaps to this, but I wanted this to be quite simple. So you could add pockets. Okay, so we're going to glue those 2 pieces together, and then we're going to attach that to the page. Okay, and then add that to there, like so. Okay, and then you're just going to continue going through the rest of the album with your card. So I've added the paper to the pages now. Okay, and I've also added some paper to the inside covers, and you'll need 2 of them that measure 4 1/8 by 4 1/4. And as you can see, I've added some little images here, and I cut these from the patterned paper, and I added some liquid glue just to the bottom section here, so then you could add a journaling card or photo and you can just slot it in there like so. Okay, but I'm going to leave that section just as it is now. Okay, and then I'm going to add the photo or journaling card later on. Now, I would recommend using liquid glue to attach this, because if you use double-sided tape, once you add your photo, the double-sided tape will have it will stick to your photo or whatever you're going to put in there, whereas liquid glue will dry completely and it won't leave any sticky residue. Okay, so and again on the same on the back here. I've already done it at the bottom here, so then you could add a photo here. So now we're going to decorate the pages, and again I just cut out some of the images from the patterned paper, and I've also used the sentiments from the Spooky Cat stamp set. Okay, so on here I want to add a sentiment, so wherever there is images on the paper I want to add a sentiment and then an image on here. Okay, so I have stamped them all out on very vanilla cardstock with Memento Tuxedo black ink, and then I just distressed the edges with pumpkin pie and cut them out. So I'm just going to place that along the bottom. I've also added foam tape just along the bottom, so then a photo can still slot behind that sentiment. So I'm going to place that just here. Okay, and then to each sentiment I want to add some basic jewel rhinestones. So I'm going to add one to the eye, the dot on the eye here. Okay, so we're going to the next one. Again I want to add an image here, so I'm going to use, let's have a look, the pumpkin I think. Again, I've added some foam tape just along the bottom, and I'm going to place that there. And I'm also going to just colour any black on the images in the clear Wink of Stella, just to give it a bit of glitter. I don't know if it's going to pick up. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to continue adding my sentiment. So let's have a look what we've got here. We've got this happy owl. Happy Halloween. And I'm going to place that one in the bottom. Yeah, let's place that one here. And again I'm going to add some rhinestones to the eyes. You can also get some basic, black rhinestones that are like this, that are in the holiday catalogue. But I haven't got any of them yet, so I'm just using what I have. Then I'm going to add this one to here, which says a wicked yummy treat for you, happy Halloween. So let's have a look. I want to add some rhinestones to this one. Let's have a look. Let's have one on the web like that. Then we're going to add, got some little potion bottles here, and I'm going to place them here, I think, like so. And again, I'm just going to colour those ones in with the clear Wink of Stella. We'll come to the next one, and we've got Happy Halloween, so I'm going to place that one here. Again, add some rhinestones either side of this sentiment, like so. And then we're going to add the witch's hat, so in this one here. Again, colour that in with the clear Wink of Stella. And then finally I'm going to add the owl, and I've added some rhinestones to his eyes, and I'm going to place that one in this corner here. So now we're going to decorate the front of the album, and I've cut some pumpkin pie cardstock that measures, just check, 3 inches by 3 inches, and then the very vanilla piece is 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. And I just stamped out some of the images from that spooky cat sentiment, okay? And that's going to go on the front here, and I'm going to keep that quite flat. So I'm going to add some liquid glue to the back. Okay. And then I'm going to place that on the front of my album. Obviously I want to make sure that it's all straight. And then I'm going to press that down. That's gone a bit wonky. Okay, so press that down. Okay, so that's stuck on there nicely now. Now, if it was me, I would have the box this way because of just me being right-handed. It would feel more comfortable pulling the album out this way, okay? But if you do that, you're going to have to put the front cover towards the back, and I don't want that. I want to be able to pull the mini album out and see the front cover straight away. So we need to turn the box this way so the holes are facing to the left, okay? So then when you pop this in, okay, you can just pull it straight out and you'll see the front cover. So I need to make sure that my holes are this side, and we're going to add my decoration. So this pumpkin pie piece measures 3.5 by 3.5. Then the very vanilla piece is 3.25 by 3.25. And then this image here is from the paper pack. Now let me just see if I've got one here to show you. Here we go. Okay, you get a sheet, a 12 by 12 sheet of all these little 3 by 3 cutouts, okay, and that's what that is on the front. And I've just stamped out the owl from the stamp set and cut out the witch's hat from the paper, added some rhinestones, and then I added a little bow out of that crochet trim. And then I have just added some foam tape to the back because I want to pop it up. So I'm just going to peel off the backing on that foam tape. Okay, and we're going to add that to our box. So I want to make sure that my seams are at the back, and I nearly put it on the wrong way. I nearly put it on the back of the box, so I'm glad I checked that. So I'm going to place that in the center like so, and that looks about central. Again, I'm going to colour all this tree in the clear wink of Stella to give it a bit of a sparkle, and also the witch's hat. And you don't have to be perfect with this because at the end of the day it's just glitter, so you can just go over it roughly like that I am doing, like so. I think that's really cute. And then all you need to do is just add your little mini album to your box. And how cute is that? I had to trim my mini album just slightly because my pages were sticking out. So that has made it tuck in to my box, as you can see. So if you want to, you could add a stopper here. So you could add a rhinestone or something, but that's not going to bother me at all. So yeah, so I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial of this Halloween mini album in a box. Please head over to my blog for more details of this project, and head over to my Stampin' Up! Online store, and I'll leave all the links for that in the description bar below. So take care everyone, and I'll see you soon.
make it a brighter place.